Welcome to our We the Only Ones. I'm Kathy.
Hi, I'm Rai.
And today, I'm like lamenting because the big beautiful bill passed. And I think it's more like it was the anticipation of thinking it wasn't going to pass, and then it did pass. That was such a letdown, but that's kind of like how...
Wait, so you thought that there was hope that it wasn't going to pass?
Yeah.
In my gut, I knew it was going to pass, because even if we call, and we should always call, you should always activate and call and do what you can, because I think it matters even if at the end of the day your Republican representative still votes for it. I feel like at the end of the day they wanted to push it through, and they were going to push it through as a party.
You got the tiebreaker vote in the Senate. It was just bad. Tiebreaker vote by J.D. Vance in the Senate,
Yeah.
Which is ironic because he was on food stamps as a kid.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's technically DEI too, because he was from like Appalachia. He was also military. Like there's all these DEI categories he fits in. He's also a lawyer, so it's kind of bad that he's not following the rule of law. And I would not be surprised. Like the American Bar Association is filing lawsuits against the Trump administration.
Yeah, because everything they're doing is like not constitutional.
I wouldn't be surprised if after all it's said and done that he actually gets disbarred because of his rule of not following the rule of law. Like straight up, I'm serious. I would not be surprised if he got disbarred.
I mean, we can dream.
Look at Mayor Giuliani, right?
Mm-hmm.
Got disbarred. So like, I'm telling you, the rule of law.
Where did he?
Who, J.D. Vance?
Yeah.
Yale.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's really funny because his book, Hillbilly Elegy, and then the subsequent movie,
yeah,
it's on Netflix. It's really interesting because that is sort of like the trajectory of my husband's life in a weird way, but except that my husband like did stuff with his law degree. So like, I remember watching that movie and going, so he's poor and he got into law school. But that's it? I was like, that's it? He didn't do anything with the law degree? He didn't actually like go. Now the rest, this is the sequel, right? He became vice president.
Is that
it's not a good legacy.
He benefited from all the resources that he is voting to cut. You know what I mean? I feel like your husband, he like realizes that those resources are necessary for people. So they're stepping stones.
Yeah.
And pathways for people to be able to go to the next like socioeconomic level and like get out of that cycle.
Yeah. My husband looks like he comes from like very upper middle class, but he actually grew up in like deep in poverty line and was always on public assistance his entire life. He was like the main breadwinner when he was 13 in his household. He was the one, he would go to like a baby's breath farm and like a catfish factory and work and ride his bike. And he has always been this way.
Yeah.
So when it comes to also, like, are there people on welfare? If you look, I think it was something like 6.8 million people that are on welfare are white. It's actually the largest population of people that are on welfare are white. Yeah. They're white. Yeah. Even though it's like this idea that it's not white people that are stealing and all, like taking advantage of the system, it's actually, obviously, statistically, the numbers, if there's way more white people, that means the fraud has to be happening more on the white, like in the white communities.
You're speaking to, like, my mom's family, they all abuse the welfare system and they're all white.
Okay.
But my mom broke that cycle. She doesn't use it, but she will turn around and automatically assume that a black person is on welfare.
Oh, okay. So she's like...
And I'm like, yeah, you literally grew up and your whole family was on welfare. But you, for some reason, when you look at a white person, you don't assume that they're on welfare, but you'll look at a person of color and assume. So there is some kind of propaganda that is doing its thing.
Yeah. No, I mean...
For sure.
I would definitely say that is part of the structure that needs to occur for it to have lasted this long. Mm-hmm. Do you know what I mean? So... now, the interesting thing is, like, my husband's family, some of them are racist. We did have, like, a falling out with some people that I remember after we got married, there was somebody who had been in our wedding party that was a step brother to my husband. he sent like a racist email joke about like watermelon. It was when President Obama was in the White House. It was like early. And then his wife was Mexican. So we're like, how are you? My husband, actually, I didn't jump in this. My husband was like,
you're like, you handle it, babe.
Well, my rule generally is like whatever's happening in that family is the person that's related, the blood family member has to handle everything.
Yeah.
Like you don't step in. That's not your place to step in at all if you're not the blood relative. Unless somebody crossed over and like came after you.
Yeah.
That's different.
Then you defend yourself.
But other than that, like mind your business, stay out of it. It's none of your business. You don't have any idea how the inner workings of that,
that family, the hierarchy of the family.
And I love Meghan Markle, but she could take some advice from me. So,
yeah.
I think I understand how you need to feel that way if you're in the poverty line, if you always grew up. So my husband grew up in an area where it was half Indian reservation and half like municipality. So during Thanksgiving, it was the craziest thing. When we came, I went to visit for the first time to meet the family for Thanksgiving, and a lot of their friends are Native Americans. So day after Thanksgiving, it was like a literally 4 stoplight town. When we drove into town, he was like, "Oh my God, there's a Walmart here!" And I was like, "Dude, where'd you take me? Like, what the hell?" Right? Because I grew up in the most like metropolitan. I'm such a city girl, like such like suburb city.
Was he nervous to show you? Like, was he kind of? Did he prepare you? Was he like, "Okay, Kathy, we are about to go to this kind of place.
I think
Just be ready."
No, I think honestly our love was so apparent, like it just didn't matter. It didn't matter where you're from. It's not gonna matter. We're in this together. So I do remember staying at we booked a Best Western hotel, and it had a pool, indoor pool, and it was the nicest hotel in the entire hour. Yeah. Like not just in that town, like in an hour radius. So the town I think had like 500 people in it. And I was like, wow, this is a small ass town. And so then I get to really understand. So when I met the friends that were Native Americans, I was like, oh, what'd you guys do for Thanksgiving? And they're like, oh, we don't celebrate Thanksgiving. I was like, there's not like in my progressive, altruistic, give back to the community mind, I thought for sure there must be a community Thanksgiving where you would meet with the Native Americans and you would have like a potluck, or you would have something that you would do, or you would, of course, you would give turkeys, right? Free turkeys to Native Americans. None of that. No. None of that. And I was like, wait, what? What do you mean? And they go, well, we wouldn't celebrate Thanksgiving. We just like watch football and then go to the fridge. But there's no like formal dinner or anything. And then we come to our friend's house the next day and then eat their leftovers. That's decent, but we don't. We're Native American. We don't.
They're like,
we don't celebrate.
We don't
Thanksgiving.
like Thanksgiving.
And I was like,
Thanksgiving fucked us hard.
But that because when you're. This is when I realized, I was educated in the American system. I've been in America since I was 6 months old.
You're like, you don't celebrate getting blankets for us?
It never occurred to me until that moment. And that was when I realized how naive I am. Even still now, like we were saying, the optimism of me, like thinking like, you thought that was going to do?
You're like,
I thought Harris was going to win. You know what I mean? Like, there's a certain amount of logic as a Gen X generational person that even though we have no voting block power because of our size, our logic and wisdom still exists, and I'm like,
I think also
in shock.
It's because I was raised by my mother who just always expects the worst, and so she's always raised me to just like the worst is going to happen, prepare for that. If you think there's a good side and a bad side, just be prepared for the bad side, because that's most likely the outcome, and that's just how I always think.
So I'm raised by anxious people. Like anxiety in my family I think is like considered like a positive, because it's like, oh good, then you're scared so that you don't get hurt, like you're careful. But
it's
even when I'm talking to you about stuff and I'm like, wow, because I can tell you're informed by such a negative experience that you're actually a very optimistic person, considering how much you're constantly in this space where you just know like it's not gonna be this interaction with this person is not gonna be positive. And this person happens to be also the person that like I'm supposed to look to like give me all my love and support and all my caring and like all my unconditional. That is not happening. And so for you're able to give that to your kids. I'm like, wow, that's really good. That we're talking about breaking cycles. Like you really broke a cycle there, because I can like see it. I'm like, wow.
Oh, thank you.
Oh yeah.
Thank
and
you.
so when we're talking about stuff, I'm like, oh no, I get what you're saying, because you're talking about the person you live with a person that was constantly spewing this hateful rhetoric or this philosophy all the time. So for you, you're like, no, Kathy, don't be naive, right? And I'm like, huh? Whereas I was not. I grew up in a very white, predominantly white society, but I can say it was an altruistic, like Silicon Valley. When I graduated high school in 95, so that would give you and I skipped a grade, I skipped first grade. So like, it will give you like the dates, the timing. I don't have as many negative experiences. My most, like where I can think of, okay, in my mom's nail salon in Los Altos, I remember The Little Mermaid. And I remember talking about this movie to one of the customers. So I used to walk around and answer phones when I was like really young. I miss my mom. I would go to work all the time to just be with her. And I answer phones. And I talk to the customers. Yeah. So this is how I got like my ability to like banter small talk. Yeah. And I was just talking about Little Mermaid, and this woman was like, you know the moral of that story? I go, no.
Oh no, don't.
And she goes, is that you should stick with your own kind. Because she tried to date outside of her kind and she died. You see how that happened? And I was like, wow, that's what you got out of that? Now, I'm old enough.
Were you like,
I'm like 9, 10, 11.
Show us that part.
But see, this is the thing. I remember I'm 9, 10, 11, something like that. Yeah. And I remember thinking, this bitch. Do you know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like, even I, at a certain age, was so mature. And I was just like, this bitch. But I was like,
got legs, bitch. What are you
But I was like, instead of going, oh, and learning that, or instead of being like, mad and saying something, I had enough wisdom like this bitch and just kept my mouth shut and just processed like that woman was crazy that she would say that to a young child like that, to do that to him. So I remember just thinking that, but that's it. Otherwise, every experience in there was loving, supportive women coming to rally around me. My first month of sales I made out of my mom's salon as like a pop-up event. I made a profit my first month, which is unheard of in any business, is to make a profit. I made a very large profit my first month. And so I can look at...
up for you. You had like a...
village.
A village. Yeah. That's beautiful.
And it's a village that's 1%ers. Even like Hassan Minaj has a Netflix special that he came out with. And he referenced Los Altos. Yeah. Because he did the show in San Jose. So he was like, what's up? Silicon Valley, San Jose. And he was like, what's up? Los Altos, my 1%ers. And I was like, oh! So that's why I make that joke now. Because it comes from Hassan Minaj's special. And so for me, I get to, luckily, I can look at wealth in a very positive way. When I think about and John Chu, who directed Wicked, also grew up in my town. His dad owned like Chef Chu's, the famous Chinese restaurant. And he even like went to my mom's salon to like say hi to her. And I think he got like a pedicure or whatever, with like some scouting people. And so I remember because she showed him my website for my clothing. I was like so embarrassed. I was like, oh my God. You had told me like, it's so sweet. It's so sweet, but also like, oh my God.
Of you.
Yeah. But I was like, oh my God. But
she's so proud of you.
But he got his start with computers from actually like Steve Jobs, and they brought because they used to eat at his parents' restaurant, so they would give him their used computers, and he got to use the computers.
It's all about who you know, damn.
But it's also the village, right? So we happen to be in white demographic, upscale. Society, but they were nice to us. Was there probably times where we noticed some racism? Yeah. I mean, did I have like my first crush come home tell his parents that a Vietnamese kid had a crush on him and then call me a Viet Cong? Yes. Did he come back and call me VC? Yes. Did that happen? Yes. Was that like something that I recall? Yes. But my experience there is also like over time, the people that were like that or like had things like that ended up like, there was another family that great family. Yes, like to the point where even somebody married somebody that was Vietnamese in the family. You know what I mean? Like we were an example that then helped. Now, one time that actually for me, my traffic engineering firm I worked in San Diego, I had like 3 jobs at the time, but this is one of them. And when I became the admin director and then I became the executive assistant, I transferred up to LA to Monterey Park so that I could go to fashion school. CEO offered me a position to be his executive assistant so I could do the transfer. Great company. And what did they do? There was a guy that applied at my old firm in San Diego, and his last name is Tran. They put all of their good feelings of me,
they're like, this
and
is
my work
ethic
Tran. Onto him. He ended up being a total fucking shitbag piece of shit. Did not do a good. Human. But see how sometimes like representation, like you can open up doors and then like it can be like, no, that's not how. So it's interesting how it takes its shapes and forms. In your life and in my life, how different, right?
Yeah, that's so funny.
And the empathy, sometimes I have empathy for like sometimes like, oh, I do feel sometimes for white people, I do see how this can happen and I feel bad for them. But if I say it, it sounds like I'm crazy. If I were to be like, yeah, like what? I go, no, I know for the most part, but I'm not negating. What I'm trying to find is the space where all of this happened, where we have a Trump 2.0 term. Regime. Yeah, like how is this happening? Like there has to be what I'm noticing. This has to be the truth that nobody can talk about, that feels like comfortable talking about. Just like I thought when my analysis of like what happened with Harris losing was that we weren't allowed to talk about, maybe like at the time we're not allowed to talk about, maybe trans rights aren't the biggest like general election issue that we should talk about, but at the time saying something like that could be transphobic. Now we know like, hey, we gotta talk about stuff. Yeah, we just gotta talk about it. Like we have to be able to talk about it.
I feel like Harris was not trying to run her ticket on trans rights, right? But I feel like
it was black joy, and it scared some people. I think she should have turned to her Indian Republicans.
Like I feel like she was trying to counteract the transphobia that was coming from the right at the time, to be like, oh, this is a safe space for trans people. Like my administration will be a safe place for trans people. I don't think it was more so like, oh, this is like the number one thing. And I think that's part of the issue too, is when we are having these presidential elections, I feel like the Democrats are always running against whatever Trump is throwing out. They have like no original.
There's not a campaign of vote for us. It's like, don't vote for them. Right?
Yes.
And maybe a vote for us is the better way. I think Obama's vote for us was like hope and change, right? Yeah, so it's like vote for me as opposed to don't vote for the other, right? Now, I feel that with the whole Bernie Sanders situation, that is exactly what aligns with that. Is like he was going, like, let's talk about the economy, and Mamdani in New York, free childcare, free healthcare.
Yeah, because if you think about it, people who align with Bernie, it's more so it was all about their wallets. And yes, Bernie is more progressive with like his moral issues or like the social issues like abortion and things like that. But what he was saying to line our wallets is what people really liked.
Yeah.
And then, he got screwed over, and then half of his following went over to Trump.
Look, at the end of the day, if my voting policy, when I have to file my tax return, ends up costing me money, I am a little disappointed when I'm like, oh my God, right? But I think of the greater good. However, do I feel it now? Like, I do notice that things are very expensive and housing costs is very high and interest rates. And if I'm feeling that, I know goddamn well everyone else is very much feeling it worse than me. And I remember during COVID, I could empathize with everybody that was going through it really hard, because I remember what it was like when I was pregnant going through it really hard. And I was like, I know exactly how everybody feels right now. Thank God we were in, Eric was in an office job at the time. So we had like regular salary, and we had bought our house, our townhouse, our condo, which was like an apartment. So many years before that, it was we were good. Yeah, we were in a very good, privileged place at that time. Yeah. But I remembered, so I honestly feel like you are the real. There's like two versions of a person. The version of you that's the poorest you've ever been in your life, and the version of you that's the richest you've ever been in your life. Those two versions make you whole. But when you're really poor, how you respond to stress, and then when you're really rich, how generous you are. Right? Will let you know like where you are.
They do say people who earn their wealth are more likely to like donate, things like that, leave larger tips. People who are born into wealth are less likely, because they expect a level of service, like
I can see
because they're used to it.
I also think that
is really interesting.
If you're born, that point. I know people that are very successful that were, as far as they know, other than like a very early time in their life, they have always been successful and wealthy and had support. They think that they're like ordained to have this privileged life, and that other people that suffered must have done something in a past life to deserve that suffering. And that's how some people operate.
Like reincarnation, like they.
I think it's just like oh, why am I so? I think everybody also that breaks through is celebrity, and becomes like a public figure, it has this like, why me? Why did I get chosen? Is it something I earned, or is it destiny? Am I ordained by God?
Yeah.
Or a larger creator? And if that is, then you go into like Messiah complex. You can either go, oh wow, I'm so lucky that I feel like I have been. Okay. When I first started my clothing line, out the gate, under my own label, I got to dress Stevie Wonder for the White House Correspondents' Dinner under President Obama, first year. After that, I dressed Michelle Pfeiffer. So then I started dressing other celebrities, so it was like I was not a one-hit wonder. There was a period where I felt like I had that moment where I was like, whoa, this happened so fast. Like, is it meant to, it's just like meant to be? Like, wow, some things are just meant to be. Or like, is there a bigger purpose? And you start to like kind of wrestle. I did. I started to wrestle with like, what does this mean? What do I owe society if this does really well? And then, you know, all the other implications of how easy it was versus how hard it is for others.
Yeah.
The career path itself, and then actually the bigger picture of like an entire life of like success and privilege as opposed to pain and suffering, right? Subsequently, after that though, boom, I hit like the hardest patch of my life. And so then I realized, oh, for me at least, and I think it's like, it's like a pendulum or a cycle where you have good and then you have bad, and then you have good and you have bad. And proportionately to how much better it's
is that when you had experienced your stillbirth?
Yeah, it was. So
as soon as you
after that
height of your fashion career.
Yeah, it was like right after. So that was the other thing though. Then it was kind of like this feeling of, so maybe I was able to feel success that I always wanted ever since I was 9 years old right away.
Yeah.
So that I could get that out of the way, and then the real thing was actually either motherhood, something bigger, something more, right? So I still was dressing, celebrity was dressing, and I liked the idea of transforming people and making them feel good one person at a time, and then eventually trying to do like mass market, so like commercial. But my translation of like doing things, also when I was doing that show, I was so stressed out not having money, and then also like knowing that like I really needed this to work, that I didn't design based on my actual design aesthetic. I was like, I need to design for a commercial retailer. What would be like a good one that is like a cross section of my style, but then a big mass? And I was thinking like Banana Republic.
Yeah.
So I started designing as if I was designing for Banana Republic, and it was funny because one of the comments later on was like, "This looks like Banana Republic," and I was like, "Oh my god, someone understood." But they were like, it was not a compliment when they were saying it, because people could tell that I was really a different type of designer.
Like a high price item.
We're just like what I had designed on my sketches, and then what I ended up doing were different, and it was just like, why are you doing it? And then the way I dressed, this was the other thing I didn't seem to like understand. And I understood it, but I just couldn't reconcile it in real time.
Yeah.
I knew it.
Looking back now.
I knew it then. I even said it to myself then. But it just took sometimes like who you are, and then like from like artistic creative perspective, the purest of you, and then where you understand it has to be, and then where you realize, where you land at the end, where it actually like makes magic, I guess it would be. But I was always like, I want individually to make somebody feel the best version of themselves. I looked at my clothing like it was armor that I was getting people to be like, they were like the knights in their own journey. Yeah. And they were like the Lancelot, and they were like going to just slay. And so whatever that was for that person, my first client was a size 16. So I was trying not to also like dress everybody that was already being dressed. I was trying to dress the outside sizes. So I was in a way different mentality for clothing than how the clothing industry was at the time.
Yeah.
And
now
you can do like
more
drops. You can do a lot. There's a lot of space, and then also I think there's more altruistic feelings about fashion now, because it's not gate kept in the same way. You don't have to go through the CFDA. You don't have to necessarily go to fashion school, and you can do a lot of advertising through like YouTube and social media platforms to sell direct to consumer, right? If you have the right, if you have the right hustle.
There was that guy that he became pretty TikTok/Instagram famous, and I think he had to like dress Anne Hathaway or Dakota Johnson.
Yeah.
Some actress. with brown hair. I can't
No, I
remember
think you're
who
right.
it was.
I think you're right.
But yeah, and his designs were phenomenal.
Yeah, and I think that's the great thing about democratizing creativity
Mm-hmm.
for artists is social media, for sure. Because, and Patreon, things like that. Because before, you had to be in like a gallery, you had to maybe have like a certain, I mean, other than Banksy, you know, who like just did it in the street.
Yeah.
Right? And then also changed art in a way different way.
Yeah.
Where you have like an art piece that's Sotheby's that gets destroyed and then it's worth like 30 times more, I want to say, than it was originally or something. Which I love that though.
Yeah.
I love that it doesn't have to be, and he doesn't have to show his face. I love that he can be an artist with having privacy.
Yeah.
I love, because in social media you don't have privacy, but then you can find a way to have privacy, still monetize, still hustle, but without having a boss. I think that's the thing about this new era, is that millennials and Gen Z
Mm-hmm.
don't have to have a boss the way that Gen X, we had to have bosses for a long time. It was, when I graduated college, I became a 1099 independent contractor, and I worked admin for a whole bunch of different companies, but I was my own boss, my own company. So I invoiced them for my services, and, I had to deduct all my taxes. That's different than like having a job where you have to show up at a certain time, you have to be there. Technically, it was in like a gray area. You know, I had to show up at certain times. If you're an independent contractor, you show up whenever you want. You decide when you show up. But, you know, there's like certain rules, like, okay, well, this is business hours, I'm gonna be up. So like, this is when we should work, right? But I think that set up the ability for people, young people, to do businesses now and then figure out how to write things off and be their own boss. And even like, I don't have a problem with OnlyFans. I actually think if women can be empowered, now that I understand the weight of women only had the right to have a credit card 50 years ago.
Oh, yeah, it's crazy. Yeah.
Like Whitney Houston's "I Will Always Love You" is older.
Then
Yeah, so like
that's wild.
that's scary.
Yeah.
And now, because I understand, I have seen so many stories about like famous artists and inventors and scientists that like
stole.
It was their wives that were the ones that were the geniuses, but then they couldn't say anything.
What is that called?
Stolen valor.
No,
Or that's military.
there's a. I think it's called like the Matilda effect.
Oh, okay.
Or hold on, let me look it up real quick.
I think you're right.
Something along those lines.
But it's really interesting to see over and over again in history how men take advantage of women, and it's just like so inherent that we just accept it. Like it's like, oh yeah.
Okay, so yeah, it is called the Matilda effect, but this one says it's mainly like scientists.
Okay.
So it's the bias against acknowledging the achievements of women scientists whose work is attributed to their male colleagues.
So the entire NASA situation right now basically is what they're doing.
I mean, that happened when I did when I took a women in science class. I mean, even back to like the 1800s, men would have women assistants that they would just have in their like lab, and then whatever a woman discovered, the man would just take credit for.
Yeah, and I have a habit of being like, not to men necessarily, but actually I have done this actually to men, where I've come up with an idea. I remember like our townhouse or condo in New York, the sponsor, I had some idea about how we should pay armor. We had a mice problem, and I was like, you know what you should do as an act of good faith, because everybody's mad at you, you should tell everybody that you're going to pay for the extermination fees out of the common fund, because we were on the board. And he's like, and I go, and you can just take credit for that idea, and don't tell them that I was the one that came up with it. Just take credit for it, so that you can get some, you know, good equity in terms of like people liking you, because people hated him because he was not very, you know, in New York you can get away with a lot as like a sponsor of a building. You can really like, it's a landlord friendly but also sponsor friendly. You can get screwed over a lot. Yeah. So lucky because Eric was a lawyer, that's how we kind of like held him off a lot of things. Yeah. But that was one example where I like did that, where I would be like, oh, I have an idea, you should just take credit for it. But the reason I do that is sometimes I know that if I let them take credit, then they'll initiate and execute the idea. So I care more about it getting done than about getting credit for it. Now, though, I have learned how much I've seen women give up credit, and that it makes other girls think that women can't do things because they haven't seen their names associated with whatever, getting credit. So now I believe in taking
Did
credit.
I tell you about the one time my oldest son came home from school? Wasn't coming home from school. We were driving somewhere, and he said something along the lines, and he just goes to public school. Like, so when people talk about how public school's so woke and brainwashing our children and all that stuff, I totally disagree. Because he said something along the lines of like, why are all scientists men? Or like, why are the only people that invent things men? Something along those lines. And I was like, oh shit, I'm failing as a feminist if that's how my son thinks, first. And then second, like, oh shit, what are they teaching their kids in school? Because if they're just saying, you know, this guy did this thing, and they're not highlighting on women scientists too, like even freaking like Marie Curie, you know what I mean? Like,
that's so funny that you use her, because every time there was a woman scientist or like
I
picked her.
Yeah,
I did her like 3 times for my reports.
Yes.
So
and it's just like, that's the one that like everybody knows. So I'm like, just at least say like, just highlight her. At least crack the door open a little bit. And then so I did have a discussion with him, and I think at the time he was too young for it, and it probably went in one ear and out the other. But I was like, hey, you know, there are a lot of women who contribute to science but don't get credit for it because of the systems in place that didn't allow women to publish papers or have labs to do research. It all had to be under a man's name. And then he was like, oh, okay. But I think now
I mean, the fact that he realized it
Yeah.
it actually does speak to you being a feminist. As much as you're like, am I failing as a feminist? No. The fact that he noticed means that you are succeeding as a feminist.
He's questioning
That's
it.
why he noticed it. Because,
Oof.
do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That he's questioning it, and he's like,
that means
wait, women should also be scientists too.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I had a slight panic in that moment. I mean, now he's super, my son's like very much like, women can do anything that they want to do, and we should help them do whatever they want to do.
I mean, it does help that most of the teachers are probably female in school. So when you're thinking about how that happens in the public school system, now because I remember thinking, oh wow, I remember my son came home and was like, Mom, I'm really sorry that my gender has been so horrible to your gender. I go, what? And then he started breaking it down, and I was like, oh, I like this. I like that. Good job, Westwood.
Yeah.
You know, good job, like, SoCal.
Yeah.
LA Unified.
And
so.
And it's like just breaking the cycle. And like.
But that's why I think when I was saying, I think progressiveness, like, okay. So we're talking about the big beautiful bill, and there's certain tax breaks that I noticed, and I was like, oh, I think that their bill, they're relying on like the trickle down. They're relying on
2.0.
Trickle down 2.0, but the difference, hopefully, in my optimistic view, is that because society as a whole has changed so much, that the trickle down would actually not that it's going to work the way they're saying. Like I firmly believe that trickle down didn't work, because if it would have worked, it would have worked by now already, based on the original like Reagan trickle down.
Yeah,
but society has to be altruistic and giving. As a whole. I would say that the Democrats that fight, they're in the same tax bracket as the top GOP tax bracket, but fight for people that are not in that tax bracket to the point that it can detriment their own finances, are examples of where it's going, like where society's going. And the fact that every time I meet somebody that is a Republican, they are embarrassed about it. So I went to a hairstylist out here, and I was like, oh, because I speak so, because there's so much news, I can't not talk about news, and I can't not talk about
She's like, did you hear the bullshit that Trump just did?
Well, I always say, hold on, I always say, before I start talking to you, are you a Trump supporter or are you not? No, I'm like, just because I don't want to like freak it, I don't want to freak anybody out. It doesn't matter. If they say they don't, it doesn't matter. I know they're a Trump supporter. Yeah. Because if you're not a Trump supporter, you're proud to announce that you're not a Trump supporter. But if you're a Trump supporter, you go, oh, I don't really care. Yeah. It doesn't matter to me. Oh, I think You played
And
it
then
down,
you're like,
but
oh,
you
it
cop
doesn't
out.
matter. Let me shit all over him.
Everybody cops out, though. They all cop out. The fact that they're cowards, that's the thing that gets, oh, you guys are cowards. Interesting. But that's a good thing. Because for a long time, white supremacy was not from a cowardly place. It was from a place of aggression and power. The fact that it's coming from a cowardly place, and that they need numbers of Latinos and Vietnamese that don't understand race politics
Asian
at
women.
all. I'm going to say it's because of, Vietnam War, not understanding all that stuff. You realize it's starting to dissipate. It's starting to really start to fall apart. They're grasping at whoever is like, okay, we're running out of the numbers, so we just got to pull whoever. It's like the countries that have low birth rate. They're like, okay, we're actually Japanese, but we have such a low birth rate. We need immigration to come in. So all of a sudden they have to now reconcile with okay, because Japanese culture is very homogenous.
Yeah.
You can be Indian, because I have great Indian food in Japan. But if you're Indian for 16 generations, you always look Indian. You're never gonna be Japanese. Period. But someone like me, who's Vietnamese Chinese, I could be Japanese within 2 or 3 generations. My kids could, or my grandkids could, because we look Japanese. And I clarified this while I was teaching English there. I was like, that's interesting, because in America, the second you're a citizen, you're considered American, and it would be considered extremely not okay to say you're not. But that's what we're going through right now, right? We're trying to peel back citizenship. Even I was born in Paris, and I was natural. I remember taking the oath.
This whole birthright thing, that's so creepy, and it's scary to me. That and then denaturalization. Actually, they did just do their first denaturalization case. They just but I'm not even gonna argue against that one, because he has a history of child porn in the UK. So
yeah, he was hardcore.
Screw him.
Yeah.
See, that's where it needs to be utilized, not people who ran a red light or whatever.
So I think what happened was they pitched it that way. It was to be hard criminals, but then the actual ICE agents are pussies and they're freaking cowards.
So they go after.
I shouldn't even call them pussies, because a pussy can take a fucking beating and a pussy can handle a lot. Okay, you guys are cowards because you go after people that are hardworking that aren't even committing any actual real crimes. Because you're too scared to go after a real gangbanger or a real criminal.
Seriously,
that's weak as hell. Because you're getting paid $1,500 a day. Do your fucking job.
Do your fucking job.
If you're gonna do it,
go after the gang. Please go after the criminals. Nobody's saying don't go after the criminals. We're just saying
there's still due process, though. I still believe in due process, but I am saying that you guys obviously are cowards because you're going after people that are not.
Yeah,
the people
you're going after people at fruit stands and people
at MacArthur Park.
Depot.
The footage of MacArthur Park was crazy. I was like, what?
That was insane. That was. I'm sorry. It's just totally.
I need you to understand that overseas, when we're called to help, if there's a hurricane or a typhoon or whatever overseas, we come and help as military. It is so bizarre to see us in America deploying Marines, my former freaking crew, to be rounding up Americans. That's
how does your
fucking
husband
bonkers.
Feel about it as a former Marine?
No, it's completely. This is not normal.
Yeah.
At all. The morale is terrible in the Marine Corps right now.
Yeah. Does he still keep in touch with people that are still in the military?
Yeah, we still have.
How do they feel?
Well, I haven't asked. They technically couldn't tell us.
Oh, okay.
Right. By law, they technically couldn't tell us. So you can only hear from inactive, retired people talking about it. So I can tell you that he's appalled. This is not normal. I can tell you firsthand. This is not what happens. We go overseas. We're the most helpful. They're so happy to see Marine Corps, military Americans come and help most of the time. Unless there's although there was recently in Japan, there was a rape.
Oh yeah, the Marine that.
And the interesting thing was the United States said you can take him.
Take him.
We're not going to take him.
Yep. So
because that means my husband's that means he was so guilty. There was no question at all. They were we don't want him. We don't disassociate.
I'm sure there was probably video footage or something because
it's just all. I mean, whatever. It was no doubt about it. And so that instance, it was one of those. That's almost like a denaturalization kind of situation.
Yeah, they're please take him.
But the irony was, the president has 34 felonies, right?
Right.
So, should he be denaturalized? Should he show up just for self-deportation? Because he does fit within the criteria of somebody that would...
That popped up on my feed, actually, the video footage of him when that reporter stood up and was like...
I think it was Jim Acosta.
Yeah. Was like, hey, are you going to be the first one to,
These are real fair questions.
Yeah, and then he freaked out, and I was just like, well, why is it okay for
Well,
you
he freaked
to
out
break the
because
law?
it's...
Why is it okay for your wife to break the law and be here illegally? Like, why are all these things okay, and you're going after these little abuelas and these people that are building our houses and our homes, the people that are picking our produce so that we have food to eat?
So when we play poker, it's called putting someone on tilt. What Jim Acosta did to Donald Trump is called putting someone on tilt. And they freak out and they can't even like focus and they just start. That's how you know they have a terrible hand.
Yeah.
That's how you know like they've lost control. So that was such a good question because he just verified right there that like there is smoke and fire right there.
Mm-hmm.
That is the legitimate
It's
question.
all about
He knows that's
smoke
true.
and fire and smoke and mirrors with his administration, like how they're going after Comey now, so that we don't pay attention to the fact that they're not.
Comey?
Mm-hmm.
What, James Comey?
Yeah.
Right now?
Yes.
What's going on?
You didn't see that?
No, what?
Oh crap! Hold on.
James Comey, former FBI director, James Comey?
Yes.
Oh shit.
Didn't he originally appoint James Comey?
You know what's funny? I remember back in the
administration?
day when the whole James Comey hearing happened, I was somebody, one of the first people that commented, this is the closest thing that we'll ever see to a sexual assault trial in the Trump administration. And then everybody started hearing that because then the line of questioning was like very much the same line of questioning you would do if you were trying to attack the victim. And James Comey was the victim in this case, where it was like...
Okay, so it says FBI launches a criminal investigation of John Brennan and James Comey.
Both former FBI and CIA director?
Yeah. And it's a video where I would play it.
That is so ironic, considering that the FBI has all the access to the Epstein files, and they act like... What's his name? Patel? Acts like he doesn't have access when he totally does.
It's because they investigated Trump for possible ties between Trump and Russia.
So that tells you everything you need to know.
Yeah.
That there's evidence that there's ties of Trump to Russia, which is why they've got to investigate the head of the CIA and the former head of the FBI. Sorry, the former head of the CIA and the former head of the FBI, who are both, by the way, Republicans.
They're both Republicans.
So I just want you to remember now.
Right,
they're coming after you. Your own party is coming after you guys.
But
your own parties focus on you guys before they even focus on everybody else. How ironic.
Trump appointed Comey, right?
Yeah.
In his first term.
And now all of this is just verification that they are coming for you before they come for anybody else.
Right.
They come for their supporters before they come for the people that resist. Why? Because the people that resist... Think of ICE being scared. Think of ICE being scared of the gangbangers. They're tougher. Your people are scared of us Democrats that stand up. So they'll go after their own supporters first.
They got to keep them quiet, I think.
Because they're low-hanging fruit. Because they're easy. Because they're like, well, I supported you. Yeah, well, you're actually brown. You're actually Venezuelan. You're actually Iranian.
Like, this is why Trump has surrounded himself with Fox News hosts this administration.
Well, there's a lot of value, even in fashion, there's a lot of value in PR. People who understand media, having people that worked on Fox News is very smart because those people know how to work in front of a camera.
But tweeting things when they're drunk?
Well, Hegseth is one specific, like, he's got iron cross. He's got, like, white supremacist tattoos on his body.
He's a piece of shit.
Like, but I want people to understand, like, these are real crimes happening in front of us. When things get reset, as long as we don't let this fall apart,
things get reset.
All these people are going to prison. Mayor Giuliani got disbarred. Like, he's a disgrace. All of these people will become a disgrace. They will all end up doing some kind of time. Trump knows that that's why he freaks out so much, because that's the one thing he doesn't want to do is go to jail. I think he knows he couldn't stand being in jail. He cannot handle the idea of being in like a cage. There's something about that that freaks him out. I know, but there's something about that really freaks him out.
I feel like this administration, I feel like his first administration, he surrounded himself with established Republicans. This administration, he's surrounding himself with yes men.
Look, after Diddy basically only got charged with 2 counts of essentially prostitution, and that was for the men. That was the men that were charged. It wasn't for Cassie. It wasn't for the Jane. So the charges that were in support of the women, he did not get found guilty of.
Yeah.
So now I feel like...
Did you see, who's that old guy that with the talk show? Bill Maher?
Bill Maher, yeah.
Bill Maher?
Yeah.
That's how you say his name?
Bill Maher.
Did you see what he was saying about...
Yes.
And how callous that is?
Yes,
like,
but he's also somebody who I can sense, like, doesn't pull good-looking women from his charm. He only because of who he is. He's probably got a very contentious relationship with, like, the female gender. And that's why I'm not surprised he would say some low-ass, like, weak-ass shit like that.
Yeah.
Because he's not an attractive man that would pull... A good-looking guy who knows how to respect women obviously looks at that, like, what a piece of shit.
Yeah, you shouldn't be treating women like that.
So I don't care what Bill Maher has to say. Like, I would want to fuck Bill Maher
yes.
anyway. Like, I don't really care. Do you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
if you're not somebody who, like, obviously you're going to talk shit about women like that because you're not, as Donald Trump would say, you're not fuckable. No wonder you act like that. I'm going to talk in the language that those men understand.
Yeah.
I don't care what they have to say. I care about people that actually understand what that means in society. That probably is a precursor to Donald Trump getting away with a lot of shit. If it's framed around women, Donald Trump will probably get away with it. If it's framed around...
But it's just like, I feel like it was such
taxes, maybe not.
To go after Cassie and not say shit about Diddy.
It's worse. It's okay.
You know what I mean?
This,
like,
even when I was thinking about, like,
what a piece of
RBG,
shit.
how everybody's trying to blame her for not retiring so that Obama could have put a judge in her place.
Yeah.
It's not her fault. It's the fact that we have shitty men that act this way.
Yeah.
That's who we should be.
She should have been able to work until
she was within her right to stay. It's a lifetime term. It's her right to stay. But do I understand? Yeah, in hindsight, blah blah blah. Yes, but why are we so quick to blame the women? The women who have put she put how many years of work and service, and in the end, the legacy is that you're going to say it's her fault. Get the fuck out of here with that.
You know,
like
it's what's the turtle man's fault. What's his name? He looks like
Mitch McConnell.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yup. It's very much old guard has to find, like, either they're going to die naturally because these guys seem like...
Yeah, is he running for re-election?
Probably. And
Bro,
so...
he's, like, been, like...
I think they're trying to...
he needs to phase the fuck out because he's been doing that thing where he's, like, disassociating.
Yeah,
and, like...
He, like, freezes.
Yeah.
But this is...
weird.
I'm assuming that his cabinet in his office controls everything, and they just run it so well that they're not trying to give it up.
So he can just stand up there and freeze, and people still just are like, yes, vote.
To a certain extent, I think is what happened with Biden. Because I forgot that Biden had promised a one term. I forgot that he had said, I'm only running one term. The way that Cheney had said, I'm only running one term. I didn't realize that if let me tell you, if I can't ever run because I was born in Paris, but if you were ever a one-termer, you need to freaking legislate
the shit
out of everything and support and protect. I would love more one-term presidents. I would love people to go, one term, you know what that means? I'm going to legislate like hell for you and protect you guys because I don't care about the re-election. I don't care about second term. I'm going to do everything I can to get the best legislation through. That's the president I want. I don't want these two-termers that are, like, so scared to do shit that they basically buckle. I mean... It's very hard to see people that are supposed to be, like, enemies in the sense of, like, we're fighting for the poor, you're not fighting for the poor, and then they all, like, really, really buddy hang out together and go to each other's weddings and stuff. I'm kind of like, if I really thought that you were that horrible person, I would not want to hang out with you in my off time.
Right.
Let alone give a gift to your progeny.
Right.
Or spawn, or whatever. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I just feel like...
It's like, if we're voting and creating legislation based off morals, like helping the poor or the right to education, those are, like, foundational human...
But those are good economic policies, too.
You know what? Yeah, they're good economic
so
policies.
We're not discussing economic policy properly. We're making it sound... Democrats make it sound like it's a charity.
Yeah.
It's not. These are stimulus packages. Every single economic policy is a stimulus package.
In the community and makes everybody better.
It makes your property value go up. If your schools are doing better, people will buy houses in those districts, which helps raise the property value, which helps raise the dollar value, which helps stabilize the economy, which helps other economies want to invest in the United States, which helps create jobs.
What I want to know is what are you two vibing over? if one of you thinks that like poor people should eat shit and the other person's like, no, poor people should be able to,
in my experience,
have food.
Gambling. So I'm guessing they're all doing illegal, you know how like
Stock.
Congress is like, there's all that.
Stock.
Ramen noodle hair lady that you were talking about.
Oh yeah.
She just got in trouble for the second time.
And
I sent that to you the
yeah,
second
that
time.
picture justifies.
Justified ramen noodle hair.
Yep, thank you. The picture that you sent. I was
so
like,
bad.
Yeah.
That's friendly fire that I'm willing to say is okay because she's completely, it feels like very corrupt and wrong to me. But
Chuck Schumer, Nancy Pelosi.
I mean, this is where I think, where you were saying, where do they, this is where. So remember I said to you, I always find that I didn't know that I was friends with a Republican until 3 months in because I met them gambling, so we didn't know, or I met them at Disneyland or Disney World. So I'm right here, Congress, it's because they're gambling essentially through stock trades, right? That's where that's the Venn diagram where they...
And they're like, at the end of the day, if we pass this, how can we line our pockets? What's going to benefit us in the long run?
I don't think that it's like, I think they went in there with a good intention, but I think what happened is just like the Tour de France with like Lance Armstrong, where everybody's doing it. So if you don't do it, you're just a dumbass that's not, right, doing steroids. You're just a dumbass that's not lining your pockets with this information. Everybody else is going to have money and you're not. You're the dumbass that's not doing it. My question is, at what point do we recognize that, okay, they have all this money, like why are they on free healthcare? Why aren't they on the same healthcare as us? Because if they were on the same healthcare as us, they would legislate the healthcare better because they would need it to work better. They're on a healthcare system that provides everything they need for free anytime they want. Anytime they want it. We have the complete opposite. And they don't even know how it works because they've been on their system for so long. They don't even know how the private healthcare system works. They're told by the insurance lobbyist that pays them how it works. But that's not really how it works. And so
they're
that's the other
being
thing.
told one thing and then the reality is something else.
And they really don't care to learn.
Right? I feel like, and I've talked about this before, is that every representative and Senate member should make the median income of the state that they're representing.
Ooh.
Because I feel like we need to take out lobbyists. Like you can't, because then,
well, you know what would work actually?
Oil.
Okay, median income, that situation. So most of the Congress people have two houses. They have a house in their state.
And then
one in DC.
Yeah.
And the way that it works, like sometimes they have to share because they don't have money. So what I would say is median income for your house, that your residence that you live in the state, and then obviously like cost of living allowance for the DC. But I think you're right. So that way they can actually feel how it is.
Yes.
There.
Because I feel like they get all of this PAC money and whatnot, and they become so out of touch of their constituents and who they're representing. And then,
I mean, it's like free money, right? Can you imagine winning the lottery, free money every single day? How hard it would be to like get, like I said before, like the Messiah complex.
It's crazy. It's like, why?
So remember that I said the thing about like when people are successful and then all of a sudden like they have to process like, wow, am I ordained or whatever? Imagine the same process as a public politician who starts getting mad PAC money. Now you're like, not only are you ordained in the public sphere where people like look to you and like their eyes are like,
oh my gosh,
right?
Yeah.
You get that.
But
you also get money.
Yeah.
So then you really think you're
But see, I
God's
feel like
greatest
I
gift.
would feel, but this is my personality and that's why I don't have an interest in running. I would feel filthy if I took some other lobbyist or PAC money.
I always thought it was like this. If this is how I would do it. My perspective, if I'm a politician and you donate to me, you're donating to me because you believe in what I plan to do. I might ask you, what would you like me to do? So I understand what my constituents want, but I'm not promising you that I'm going to give you quid pro quo for what you're donating to me. So that's why I don't understand. There was some line where it became like, no, it's quid pro quo, like straight up quid pro. The problem is, it's like as little, I've seen, as little as $5,000 you can buy a politician for.
Yeah, we're going to give you $5,000, vote this way.
Like, I donated $5,000 one year to vote relied. Like, that is a tiny amount of money that I'm like, how the hell
did you buy somebody
for $5,000? Like, that's crazy. And some of those names were like names that you recognize. So I was like, whoa. That also tells you how hard it is to run a campaign. There used to be, I remember before Obama, not everybody, for the most part, the presidential nominees would just take the money that was given by the government. It was something like $7 million. President Obama was the first one to say, actually, I'm good, because he knew he could way out fundraise that. But then that changed political fundraising forever after that. I think that we need to go back to everybody gets the same amount of money.
That's what it needs to be. Or there's just allotted something that FCC just like has allotted airtime.
Well, that's how it used to be.
Yeah, and not
until Donald Trump went on SNL, and then they violated the FCC rules. People wrote letters and complained. Just nothing. We're just not enforcing the laws that we have. We have monopoly laws. We have FCC laws. We have so many laws to regulate all the stuff that's happening. We're just not enforcing them. So whatever they've done,
to break that cycle, because I feel like that is the theme of this episode is breaking cycles.
Well, on the other end, though, in California, Governor Newsom just signed. This is something I didn't know about. It's like, so my husband had done an environmental, like, some kind of environmental board thing, and he was aware that there is a huge problem with being able to build low-income housing in California and other projects because of this environment impact stuff. So they lifted this literally like in the last week. Damn. So now you can build easier. So now we'll see homeless housing that's being built in California for low-income housing. Because what happens is that you have low-income housing allocated, but then by the time you had to do like all the environmental studies and stuff, well, they cost so much money that they had to like cut this and this and this and that. Now, if you don't have to do all those hoops, you have to jump all those like through all those bureaucratic, like have fund a study, environmental study. There's like we have transportation studies, traffic planning study, all this. You have to fund all those. There's like hundreds of thousands of dollars to cut out of the budget of whatever you're doing. Yeah. So by not having to do it, I could build the housing.
Now, yeah.
So that's a big deal. And then I also there's also something that he signed for film and TV industry.
Yeah, to bring it back to California.
Yeah, because it was leaving. It was like really.
So let's see if that works, because I know somebody who's in more like an indie film producer, and they were saying the tariffs that Trump wanted to impose
was going to kill the movie industry. Even if you shot every single thing and did everything in the United States, if you had to do like one little thing either in Canada or shoot like in a Scottish castle, it would have totally just screwed over your entire budget. Yeah. So I think what's happening is a manipulation of the financial market so that you can make money on the rise and the fall. So when it's high and then you tank the economy by it drops. Yep. And then you change it. You go, oh, my bad. We're actually going to not do those tariffs. Then it goes back up. So that you can literally plan, which is completely insider trading. Like this is the largest insider trading.
The most open.
Most obvious.
Yeah.
Government sanctioned insider trading.
Ever.
Both sides.
Both.
Yeah, both parties, for sure.
Oh, yes. Because I hate when I'm like, insider trading is ridiculous. I'm like, Nancy Pelosi does it. And I'm like, yeah, I know. I'm talking about her too. Yeah. I'm not just talking about Trump. Yeah. But when you're like, but Trump doesn't, and then they try to make some kind of excuse. And I'm like, okay, why is it that I can own up that Democrats do it, but you can't own up that fucking Republicans do it? Shut up.
It's the same thing with religion, and I don't want to get deep, but like, what I, as a Catholic, can like talk a lot of shit about Catholicism and hold like, Catholicism accountable, but then like, talking about Israel and Gaza is like, they can't seem to hold themselves accountable and not like, but I did Grok, the AI, just like started spewing all kinds of anti-Semitic stuff. I think in the last 24 hours, like really bad, crazy stuff. So the CEO of X resigned. Female. She'd been there for 2 years. Damn. It's not directly as a result.
Talk about insider trading. Let's talk about how Elon Musk, because he bought X on his Tesla stock, that he like switched, and now X, he bought it with his AI.
Well, now what you learn is like don't feel bad about using your debt to buy shit. Like normal people like, oh, it's so bad to use your debt to like buy like a house. Like if it's actually your money, that's better than like this guy literally had it was not real money. It was unrealized. I feel like unrealized money, right? There's no capital gains tax on this new thing too. But I guess you can argue like the big beautiful bill, it's gonna change wealth like a lot. But
who is it gonna benefit?
Oh, at the top. For sure. But I do understand like the sentiment of like, well, you've already been taxed, your income tax, you got taxed when you got paid. You get taxed when you buy stuff. You get taxed now when you actually make money on that money. You've already been taxed on the money. So I'm like, okay, I get that. I understand that. But then through history, when they didn't have I think it used to be a 50% inheritance tax. And, oh, no. The wealth tax used to be 50%. And that's how during...
Ronald Reagan, he's the one.
During FDR. That's how we built the New Deal. That's how we, like, rebuilt America. It was a 50% wealth tax on everybody. That was, like... I don't know what the percentage, if they were top 1 or what percentage. If it was, like, top 5%, top 10, I don't know, whatever. The new... I think there's, like, the tax in New York that Mamdani is doing, and this is... I like this one because there's actually a lot of millionaires, but, like, $1 million, like, it's not a lot in New York, but it is still a significant amount of money.
Yeah.
So before the tax would be like a $500,000 or $400,000, you would get taxed at the high tax rate. Now it's $1 million in New York. It's $1 million above you get the extra tax rate that pays for all the programs.
Yeah.
And I think that's fair. I think $1 million, like, you know, but I think that's what we need to do is there's something else about like possibly repealing property tax completely.
Dang.
Big beautiful bill. So that once you own your house, you don't have to keep paying. You own it.
Yeah,
that's how, every other country.
That's what
you don't pay property tax. Yeah, you don't pay property tax year after year because how can you possibly? That's why my parents
when you
retired
become older and you retire and you have, you know that.
Yeah, my parents in Los Altos. We were in Los Altos Hills. It was like literally half a block from the country club, Los Altos Hills Country Club, and their tax. I remember for their house was like either 25 or 50 grand a year, and they're like, there's no way we can just like retire and pay tax every year. We don't need, we just can't. So they had to figure, and then they retired overseas to Vietnam, and they built a hotel there, and they had a successful hotel for 10 years. So a lot of people I know somebody who was a doctor in New York, and they lived in like Upper West Side, and then they retired to Portugal. So like a lot of really, really wealthy people in America all retire overseas. They go. I know somebody that was a client of my husband's.
Buy a property outright and then not have to worry about paying.
Yeah, your just money goes a lot further, right? They have free healthcare in other countries. Very like open drug policies. So like if you want to smoke,
to pay taxes for shit.
Yeah. So there's all that. I mean, you're going to realize, that's why I think traveling is the most important thing for Americans to do, because then you realize where you're being lied to by your government and where we could do better. And also like how you could be happier, because you can see how other countries, whether they're poor or wealthy countries, their happiness is so like obvious, but our happiness in America is not obvious at all.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I feel like California, that's the other thing. We're talking about like California, Governor Newsom is talking about making it the Republic of California and seceding and joining Canada and Mexico. And I was thinking that would be so funny because I would love to not have to pay federal taxes anymore and just keep that and then only pay state taxes, because we have a surplus of $85 billion that we contribute into the federal tax fund from California. So when Trump was like, I'm going to cut federal funding from California, Governor Newsom was like, please do. We would love to stop paying taxes to you because we would actually get our money back.
Right.
And we would actually
have money.
Could you imagine $85 billion of tax money that we had for California? We could probably give everybody healthcare in California. We could probably give everybody free college in California.
I mean, and
free
actually,
childcare.
Did you know that, at least it's this way in Pasadena, but the community college, the first 2 years are free if you go to a local school. So like my kids, because it's like Arcadia, Rosemead, Almonte, Duarte, like surrounding. Yeah. You can go to PCC for free and then transfer to a UCLA or a USC.
That's good.
Isn't that crazy?
You should do that.
I think when I was back in Ohio, I was talking to one of the parents, and they were saying they're going to do something similar to the Columbus Community College, as it being more of a state-funded
It's just a waste of money.
And then
to go 4 years. You might as well go junior college, because a lot of the professors at the junior college teach at the school at the 4 year. So like when I went to my junior college, my economics professor was a Stanford economics professor.
Also, when people are getting their gen ed credits those first 2 years, you feel such a pressure to be so focused in on one thing that you don't feel the freedom to try other classes because you're paying for it.
Yeah.
So when you have those first 2 years, it actually allows you the freedom to try different classes to see what you're really interested in. And then when you do transfer to like UCLA or
plus it gives you more time.
San Diego, whatever. It allows you to like be like, okay, I tried this, and this. I know that I want to do this for my major.
Yeah, but also like, okay, if you were not really good in high school, you can go to junior college
Yeah.
and then prove that you're really good in college.
Yeah.
And then get into a very good school.
Yeah.
So like I had a 4.0 my first quarter. It was quarters, I think, at my junior college.
Mm-hmm.
And then I used that 4.0 to then apply. And then when I applied, I got a yes within 7 days. So like it was one of those situations where I learned, oh yeah, you know, you can save a lot of money. Now my entire college education I paid for because it was inexpensive at the time. But when I paid for my oldest to go to private kindergarten, that was 20 grand.
You're like, this is more than college tuition.
Yeah. That was just a taste of like what it would be like if we funded all the way through, right? So I was like, okay, let's say we have a great case that settles. I've actually asked him this. I was like, okay, let's say we have a great case, and then do we send the kids to private school? Because there's a certain threshold where you feel like my parents, I remember when they made a lot of money, they started asking their client. My mom was like, I just started asking some of my smartest clients, my most successful clients that I respected, like what we should do because we're really successful now. Like we're millionaires. What should we do with this money? And they were like, educate your children. And so they sent us to private school. And we had good public school. Like now, if you look at the ranking, public school was very high. So my parents could have saved a lot of money. Yeah. But the benefit I will say is my friends, my network from my private school days is still very strong, and they're all very successful and helpful.
There's a connection that you could. I mean, we live in Arcadia, and they have great public schools. There's like 3 kids on our street that go to private school.
I think it's Catholic school over there. The one that
Holy Angels.
Yes.
Yeah.
But Catholic school is half price. And so like elite private school would be 20.
Yeah.
Then Catholic school would be like 13. So that's how you would know. A parochial, religious affiliated school generally would be like $7 grand less than whatever the elite one that's non-religiously affiliated would be, because the religion is subsidizing
just like, I'm
it.
like, why are you going to private school when you have public schools?
There's just brand.
You think?
Yeah, I mean that's the same thing with junior college. Like, why do you go and pay for the first 2 years? Because the brand of going to the school all 4 years, the feeling of that brand is better than going 2 years of community college. In reality, nobody cares. Those 2 years don't even show up. It only matters where you graduate from. Nobody will know ever that you went to community college. The only person that really knows is the fucking bank, because you didn't have to, because you have all this extra money that you got to keep instead of paying to the fucking loan, right? So for sure, I think that's the smart way to go. In hindsight, I can say for sure that's the way to go. Like my husband had a full ride for law school that he did not take. What? He decided to go to a law school that had the Innocence Project inside it, so that he could intern for the Innocence Project and then hopefully overturn wrongful convictions, which he ended up doing. That's so he overturned 2 in there. And now that's what I was saying, like with like JD Vance. Now Eric did not go to Yale. Okay, he went to a good law school, but it wasn't like a Yale or Harvard Stanford. It wasn't one of those, right? But he did achieve a lot. Like his actual law career is super impressive.
Okay, so I don't know JD Vance's history. Oh. Really. I just know that his mom was a drug addict and that his grandparents raised him.
Yeah. And so he grew up in like Appalachia, which is like
Appalachia, Ohio, right?
Was it Ohio?
The Appalachian Mountains, right?
Or is it
the
West Virginia?
Part,
but okay. But so the irony is there was a review of this in Entertainment Weekly of this movie, and the person who reviewed it, I know him. He is the younger brother of another person I know that went to school with me, but was in my sister's grade.
Did he like the movie?
Well, the irony is the brother is also a lawyer who went to Georgetown Law and then Stanford, or went to Stanford and then Georgetown Law, and then went to Russia. So you have the person who reviews the movie, and he's like, same take that I took. We're just like, that's it? That's all? Like we're maybe because we came from Silicon Valley, and we're like, you know, yes, you go to a good school, but like, what did you do with it? His entire freaking arc is that he went to the school, that he got into the school and he finished. That was it.
Is that how the movie ends?
Yeah.
Oh, but in real life, what did he do
after
law school? Did he just automatically go into politics, like right after law school?
I think he wrote the freaking book.
And then went into politics?
Then the movie got made, and that's how he went into politics.
No.
Dude.
Oh, no, let's look this up. J.D. Vance.
Yeah. The book helped him get into politics. Writing that book. Yeah, and the movie helped him get into the White House. Straight up. And it was so ironic to me because here it is. It's like this, like, kind of a story that's similar to my husband's, like, very poor upbringing, should not have been able to make it out of this small town, let alone to be able to make it to, like, big city.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, he was born in Middletown, Ohio.
Oh, my God.
Yeah. I mean, he was our representative.
Oh,
so
my
he
God.
went to OSU and then Yale. Ew, he went to OSU. That's where my mom works. Okay.
What? She's like, I knew him.
Oh, no. I would be like, yeah, did you tell him to fuck off?
Actually, she would have told you if she knew him already.
Yeah, she would have. She'd be like, he's a great guy.
But see, both of them are married to immigrants, which I'm like,
oh, I heard that his wife, J.D. Vance's wife,
she's Indian.
she cannot stand Trump.
Of course not. How could you stand him?
So
A woman who likes spices? Why? How could you possibly be a woman who likes spices and then listen to this man? The entire reason why the continent of America was even discovered is because people from Europe couldn't stand their food and they decided to commission a sailing across a world to get spices.
Damn.
That is the entire reason and foundation of the discovery of America. So right in the White House, you see the encapsulation of the irony of all of it.
Ron Howard is one who produced his movie. So it looks like he was in San Francisco to be a venture capitalist for a little bit.
Did he fail? Is that why he's not there anymore?
Probably. So, and he was a law clerk.
Clerk, yeah.
Clerk. Did I say Kirk?
It's okay. Yeah.
A law clerk for a bit. So yeah, it looks like he did a couple of different things. So, and then he also served on the board of advisors for a super PAC.
So for a law career, in terms of a law career,
that's not good.
It's not impressive.
It's not good.
You're not practicing. You know what I mean? You're like that means he's not good at being a lawyer. That's the reason why. Well, clearly because he's not upholding any of the freaking rule of law,
Right.
any of the things. But he loves to tout that he's a lawyer, right? And he loves to tout that he went to Yale. But neither of those things are actually evident in the way that he is moving in the world right now.
Can't they revoke his degree?
Yeah, they can.
Shouldn't they be doing that?
I mean, Yale.
That would be a great way to break the cycle.
Yeah, I feel that Yale should be concerned about their reputation, for sure.
Yeah.
I think, although, it's gonna be a long road. We got Harvard with Alan Dershowitz. He was like the quiet one, getting all upset now that like there's no list. He's like, all my friends that left me because they thought I was on this list because I defended them, and I'm like, there was a plea deal that should not have ever been allowed. Like it's an illegal plea deal that you negotiated. Like, but because there's the list, it doesn't exist. Now he's like, I'm vindicated. And I remember in the article, they're like, oh, a prominent Harvard attorney, Harvard law professor is now saying, and I'm like, Alan Dershowitz. I already know who it is.
Yeah.
That's who it is. And so I'm like, man, if I were you, I would just lay
shut
low,
up.
sir. Lay low.
Be quiet.
I'm going to assume that if you're defending them and doing all that stuff, that
So why is that
evidence.
lady? I mean, if there's no list, if there was no human trafficking that took place, if there was no evidence of,
Well, there's no way that could be true because then how is he convicted of a crime?
yeah, and then
Right?
also,
So like why
what
was he in
is,
prison?
what's her name? Maxwell. What is she?
Ghislaine.
Galeen. What is she serving 20 years for?
Exactly. So obviously there was what is Prince Andrew in trouble for?
Mm-hmm.
So obviously they're covering up a lot of activity because they won't even talk. I mean the way that they're freaking out and being also very calmly.
And I think everybody is on the same note. We do not care if they're a Republican. We do not care if they're a Democrat. We don't care if they're an independent. If you were associated with human trafficking minors or human trafficking in general, it's disgusting. and you should be held
Well,
accountable.
honestly, we need Anonymous to just like get that list and just like
Seriously, Anonymous just needs to leak
hack and leak it.
because
redact.
every
Take all
time I
redactions out.
say something, they're like, well, the Clintons. And I'm like, if the Clintons are on the list, I don't give a fuck. Still publish it and throw them in jail. If whoever, I don't care. If whoever is on the list, just publish it and then put them all in jail. It would be the fresh start that is needed for us as a country, I feel like.
I would love for this to be something that is so abhorrent to us that we absolutely vote a woman in now. Because how could you not vote a woman into leadership after seeing the corruption of hiding sex crimes against children at the highest levels? Sex crimes in the music industry, they're obviously prevalent.
Yeah.
Like, whatever we are seeing is not the culmination of whatever it is. These are like, I feel like they're the bottom rung of the highest level.
Yeah.
We're just touching into like, this is where they do the initiation process, is all this like gross stuff. Where this is where they have like, okay, now we know that you won't say anything because like we all did
really
this
bad thing.
So like we know we're all like locked into this like
We can blackmail each other
fraternity together.
if we need to.
Like we're all nasty
yeah.
and disgusting and repulsive together. So that's why it's like so secret. We finally hit the bottom of this disgusting thing. So
And like, why did Epstein kill himself if he was innocent and didn't have a list? Like, he just did it?
I'm saying this. Epstein versus Diddy. Diddy thriving in jail.
Oh, yeah.
Diddy must be thriving.
He says, I'm at...
What music is
Disneyland.
going to come out? What kind of music is going to come out?
Oh, who knows? But I bet you he's going to be having his own little freak-offs in his cell. He's like, yes, I love it.
I just know he's running shit in there. I just know.
Yeah.
I know he's having a good time. Oh, you know, I did hear that he was upset that Luigi Mangione was actually higher up in like the respect ladder than him.
Damn right.
Actually, what we need to be talking about is a free Luigi Mangione because he's getting charged right with like all this stuff and like the guy that shot the two.
I know they're not charging.
Not even charging with anything. I'm like, what? So that to me, did you know that had they not been killed, the big beautiful bill would not have passed? So in England, if you kill a representative or a lawmaker, the person of the same party replaces them, so no votes can get the vote doesn't get affected. They plan ahead in the UK for assassinations of political figures to affect votes, so that you can't. So it doesn't make a difference. Apparently, we don't.
We're just like, yeah,
so there's just a no vote. They just
commit
they couldn't vote
domestic
against
acts of terrorism. It's fine, and then we're gonna terrorize low-income people for the rest of their lives. It's great.
It was crazy. Like when I was on
America.
4th of July, I was just listening to Hamilton.
I've been listening to Hamilton like
I'm just-
crazy too.
God, that's so weird. I
That's
listened
so
to it
weird.
yesterday
I
and
listened to
today.
it in the car like constantly. Today I was like, I was washing dishes. I was like, one last time. Cause, can you stop? I'm so tired. I'm so tired.
So weird that we did that at the same time. Oh, did I tell you my Lin-Manuel Miranda story?
No.
Dude, we actually hung out with him on Halloween. So, at Eric's old firm, there was a guy he worked with whose wife was best friends with Lin-Manuel Miranda's wife.
Yeah.
So they would go on vacations together.
Yeah.
And one time he's like, oh, we're having a Halloween party. You guys want to go to the Halloween party? We live in the Heights. And we have like a really small apartment. But so it's really intimate.
Yeah.
Like maybe 30 people can fit in this apartment. But Lin-Manuel Miranda's supposed to come. We're like, really? He's like, yeah. We're like, okay. So we show up for this party.
And they're like sardines.
Yeah, that's where they live in the Heights, but that's like, so, we dressed up as Batman. The kids were Batman, Robin. I was Catwoman, and Eric was Alfred. Fully dressed. And then, all of a sudden, two kids run in with like homemade Batman, Robin outfits. It was Lin-Manuel Miranda's kids. And then I didn't realize that Robin was his baby because his wife was holding him. And I was like, oh my God, it's my kid's first Halloween. Can I take a picture? Can my baby take a picture with your baby since they're both dressed as Robins? And his wife says, yes, but no social media. I go, wait, what? Yes, social media? And she goes, no social media. I'm like, oh, good. Me neither. No social media for the babies. Like, totally. So I took a picture of them, and his baby's like totally nuzzling into my baby, and they're both in Robin outfits. Like, oh, it's so cute. Because they're like goobers, like really, like I'm holding it. You have to hold them at this point. They're not walking babies, you know, really. And so then I realized, like, oh my God, that's Lin-Manuel Miranda's baby. And I had just seen Moana, but I had not seen Hamilton at this point. Thank God. Had I seen Hamilton, I would have been a weirdo. I was already sort of like, and he was kind of like, hi. He never introduced himself, but we were literally this close talking the whole time. And I'm like, and he doesn't know this, but I've seen how many celebrities, I've seen Oscar winners and before. Yeah. There's just certain people that all of a sudden I couldn't help it.
Geek out.
I was
you're just like,
and I treated him normal. I didn't like, but
that you know of.
But my face was like so. I mean, and he definitely was like, please don't out me to my children, because he loves his privacy. His kids don't know necessarily, or now maybe they know a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, as
but
they get older, they
in the beginning, I think the first 3 to 5 years of their childhood, the kids didn't know, and so when they would be on the subway, people would literally like text and then just show him a text where I'm a huge fan, I didn't want to bother you with your kids, and then he'd like, I appreciate that, because instead of going, oh my God, in the subway, and the kids are like, who's my dad, why are they freaking out, people just quietly go, hey,
aww,
huge fan, love Moana, and then goes, thanks, like that, like just quiet, like thanks. And so consistently like meeting him, it was cool to just be like, oh yeah, he's a totally normal guy. And it's funny because when he does interviews and they do it in like, you know, post-COVID, like in Zoom, his apartment, it's the same place that he, like, you can tell it's in the Heights, and like they didn't, with all the money that he's made, they didn't like go bougie. They stay grounded. They're still in that same apartment.
That's good.
Yeah, it's
that's
interesting.
Nice.
It's like a seafoam green paint in the background where I'm like, wow, that's very local. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's not like he did not go. That just feels like that's your home that you started out with before you made all the money. That's just what it feels like. Yeah. And you're like, you know, as opposed to moving on up and like
buying a mansion and like move and out on the Heights. Yeah.
Like, you know, a lot of some of the stories of like, I'm thinking like Real Housewives of Atlanta, the Bierman family, like they overspent big time, and like it's a lot. Like where they have to borrow money from their daughter, who's now on a Bravo show that got got greenlit because they were daughters of Real Housewives, and so it's called Next Gen NYC. And I can actually appreciate the show because I remember like what it was like when I first like started living in New York and everything. And I'm actually going to New York next week, so I'll get to sort of like touch my feet and remember the pace. But she was like, oh yeah, I've been making brand deals since she was a kid. I want to say 9, 11, 12, something young.
For her daughter?
No, that was her daughter saying, I start because of my mom being on the show. I had a brand deal as early as, it was like, I was like 9 years old.
Damn.
It made like a lot of money. But she's given that money to her mom to help pay for the other siblings and stuff. And so like her boyfriend now is like a guy who's an heir to $1 billion chicken restaurant fortune. And so it's interesting how he's like, you shouldn't be sending your mom money for this. Like, how am I? You know, it's like this like hard dynamic. So
and it's like, I wouldn't be making this money if it weren't for my mom. Kind of thing,
but it's like, also, you know, the whole like I remember watching Trevor Noah talk about how he wanted to buy his mom a house. And she was like, absolutely not. This is your money. His mom, I have like $60 million. Like, I can buy you a house. She goes, no, that's not the point. Because she remembered when she was embarking into her own career, her mom was like, you need to give me all your money. She's like, what? This is my money. So she made it a point to never take her son's money. Yeah. So she still lives in her little house and everything like that. From in like
back in the day.
Yeah, the one that he grew up in and everything. And so there's a different mentality. You can just see how, you know, when I went and saw Chris Tucker at Yamava, and he was saying how when he started making $20 million a year, his entire family was like, we're rich now. And he was like, no, I'm rich. Y'all better go get a job before it's too late. And it was good that he did that because he actually did like start, I think it was a restaurant. And he said like he paid for everybody to work there, but like no money was being made. He's like, I got shut down, guys. He's like, everybody was buying new cars, everybody's buying all this. And he's like, what? Like, no, we can't do this. So it's a difficult thing. But this is also the conversation.
About wealth.
Well, this is the same conversation that I had with like my Black Republican mentors that I knew as a kid. Like when I'm like, wait, why are you Black Republican? I don't understand. I get that we're all, because when you don't talk about it from that perspective, we're all actually, they're teaching, you know, you care about one another, you
Yeah.
Don't let you do all the things, and all of a sudden you find out, wait, what? Except, so this is where I remember when I started giving my own money to homeless people, and then the people that were like my older adults in my life, not my parents, it'd be like other adults, like,
like,
they came into my life. Yeah, they'd freak out. Like, what are you doing? I'm like, I thought we were supposed to be helping the poor.
Yeah.
Not like that. It was like the weirdest. Even now, still, it's a weird situation when you want to give.
Yeah.
But you also, like, even my kids, when I'm like, well, I want you to give, but I don't want you to give all your money away.
My brother and I actually argue about this because I will buy food. I'll buy, like, drinks, clothes, whatever. Like, if somebody's like, hey, I never have cash. So I'm like, well, hey, I can buy you a meal, or do you need, like, a sweater or whatever's, like, close by. But my brother is very much like, he's so progressive that he's like, just give them the fucking money. They're homeless.
I'm like that. I just give the money. If I have cash, I just give them money.
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't even care if you're going to buy drugs.
Yeah, he's like,
whatever you need. I don't care.
They're just trying to, like, literally
I don't care.
get by.
Yeah.
And in my,
judgment.
I never have cash, but I was like, oh, I would never think to be like, oh, here, let me, but I never have
No,
cash.
but you can do whatever you want. Like, in philanthropy, you don't judge whoever's giving. Thank you for anything. Thank you for the penny.
Right.
Oh, they only gave $60,000, but they're worth $2 billion. Dude, thank you for the $60,000. Like, I don't, like, you don't care.
Yeah.
You know
we
what I
kind
mean?
of go back and forth about it, because I'm like, yeah, but, like, what if they actually need food? You know what I mean? Because if some people are, like, drug addicts.
Well, I've had people go, I don't need that shit. Like, I've tried to
Yeah.
give a bag of chip, like, I don't want that shit. I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, sorry. Like, I'm the cash. I'm like, I don't. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
And then be mad at me. So that's a little weird.
Yeah, that part
That's a
is
little
like,
aggressive.
yeah.
But, again.
I literally had a lady in the Kroger's parking lot fight with me to try to get her to let her in my car and take her through the KFC drive-thru when I was literally offering her groceries that I had.
Oh, she wanted to get in the car with you?
Yes. And I was like, no.
That's a lot.
And I was like showing her groceries that I had purchased. I was like,
That's too much already. You're like,
do you want
it.
this? Do you
Wow.
want? And she's like, no.
Your patience is nice.
Yeah, and she's like, can you just take me to KFC? I was like, you cannot get in my car. I don't know you. And she, like, we were going back and forth in the KFC or in the Kroger parking lot.
One time I let a person get in my car. I was giving a ride home from Venice Beach, and I was living in a shared dope place. It looked like what you would call MTV The Real World, but how the place used to be. And I met this guy, and he asked me for a ride home, and I was like, sure.
He's a
and
man?
then I realized
That's even worse.
I know. I realized I was going in a circle. And I was like, what? By the fourth left turn, I'm like, what the fuck? We're going in a circle. I'm like, get the fuck out of my car. He's like, I'm so sorry. I come home, my roommates were like, I think he was probably trying to, like, eventually just, like, crash in your room. Because he probably didn't have anywhere to go. He was probably home.
Yeah.
So I was like, what? And then all my friends that lived in LA were like, because I just come up from San Diego, I was going to fashion school. They're like, oh my God, you're so naive. I cannot believe you let a fucking random person in your car.
In your car.
Like, you're fucking crazy. And I was like, I didn't. They're like, I know you want friends. I'm like, I have friends. They're like, I know you want friends. I was like, no, I have friends.
Nice.
Well, they were just saying, like, obviously you're lonely, because why the hell would you have friends here? Why would you fucking do that? I go, I didn't think I was doing anything wrong.
You
I was
just
helping.
right.
Yeah. And, like, never, promise me you'll never do that again. I'm like, all right, I'm sorry.
No. Yeah.
Again, I still can be,
This lady
I can be
like,
smart, but
I'm
also
sorry,
naive.
I don't know you, but you cannot get in my car.
Now I'm a lot, but like, dude, back the fuck up. Now I'm way, like, I remember one time I had to get somebody to go in my face on the street in New York. It was a homeless person, and I was just in one of those moods. And that's now my standard now. Is like, okay, just get in that place. Where it's like, oh, no. I am not the one. Today is not the day.
Today is not the day.
You do not want to fuck with this today.
Not
I
today,
will fuck you up. And the guy was like, oh shit, and like walked as fast as he could away from me. He was like a grown ass man that walked right out of nowhere, walked up and just wiped my face like this, like literally this close. And I just I just had a mood. I was in one of those moments.
You're like, today's a shit day.
And I was. If he had
not today.
I was definitely like ready. If he had flinched at all, I would have knocked the fucking shit out of him. I was like ready to go. But he was like, oh, she's serious, like I'm out of here. But I'm not always like that. Sometimes I'm in a very like mood.
Yeah.
You know, so I have no idea how I'm gonna react. Now taking Kung Fu, I feel like a little bit better. I was like brown belt and Aikido at that point, but now I have like 2 things.
You're gonna have to trim your nails down for.
I need to go get them done.
Yeah.
And for punching, yeah, because I can cut mine into my fingers.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
I'm just waiting. Yeah.
Where are you gonna go get them done?
I go to a place that's local now over here. Yeah, they're really good. Yeah.
I'm so sad about the place near what used to be.
Yeah, that's the best thing about tax write-offs now. Well, not now, forever, but even now we're talking about tax write-off. Everything we do, haircut, all of our makeup, any of our primping, all of it. Tax deductible now.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Big beautiful.
You want to lease a car, or you want to, tax deductible 100%. Lease a car. Yeah.
My mileage, driving my ass out here.
No, but you could literally just lease a car. You could sell that car and then lease a car, and that 100% of that lease is tax deductible.
Well, our car's already paid off.
I know, that's my problem too. One of my cars is paid off, so I'm like,
we're keeping it for Liam, and then once he starts driving, we're gonna get a new car.
But you can lease it.
Bleep that out. An hour 30 in.
All right, let's close out.
Yeah, I feel like that was a really nice, well-rounded episode about breaking cycles on a relationship level, like with your family and friends, but also on a political level.
Yeah. And like society in general, like maybe come from a place that, yes, still understand like there's right and wrong, but also give space to like, why is somebody saying this thing? Where are they coming from?
It's not black and white. There is grayscale in between.
I still have my Trump supporter friends still coming by, and we still have these discussions, and they do come like hat in hand, trying to like really get it.
Hat, or?
Yeah, no, red hat.
Hat in hand. I was like, whoa.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I saw somebody ask something about like the red hat. What is the red hat? Oh, somebody was asking because she was gonna crowdsource to tell her boyfriend that the red hat means something. Anybody that sees a red hat now, Make America Great Again hat, it just means like all negative things. And so it's like, what do you guys think? Please share, and I will tell my boyfriend. And I literally was like, every time I see that red hat, I just think small dick.
Small dick.
Because why are you so mad?
Did you ever watch Curb Your Enthusiasm with Larry David?
Yes, every once in a while.
Okay, so he has a whole season that's kind of around Trump. And he puts on the red hat. Like, he wants to go to like a sushi restaurant. He wants to be left alone. So he puts the red hat on so nobody sits around him.
Yo,
and then he has to apologize
to everybody.
Yeah.
Constantly.
Because, he's acting like a little dick. But, yeah. So good.
If I see a red hat at all, I assume it's that. So even if I thought like to wear a red hat that had like a different saying on it. Somebody had a hat that said make abortion great again. And it was a red hat. Yeah. I was like... But I'm still not gonna. I'm not gonna take the time to read the lettering. I'm gonna assume if you're wearing red hat. But that's how branding. The man is great at branding. You cannot deny that. Yeah. That is something we have to. That should be a college course. That should be its own, like, seriously, like, degree. The branding in America and what it can. The power of branding in America and what it can do. The rise of a political figure from a laughingstock joke, full-on joke, to a two-term split two-term candidate that now has taken over the actual like Supreme Court. Yeah. That's from branding. Because it's not from education, it's not from intellect, it's not from success, financial success, it's not from facts, just from branding. Branding can outdo facts.
But I also feel like it has a lot to do with blackmailing or something. There has to be something that he's holding over other GOP candidates. Like he made Mitch McConnell his bitch. Mitch the bitch.
There's just a lot of backhanded dealing that we just don't know.
Because like Mitch like went to bat for him. When he first ran, everyone was like, gosh, he's such an idiot. No, there's no way. And then once he was elected, everybody just bent.
Well, here's a weird connection I just made right now. I'm thinking about just randomly. Diddy, Aubrey O'Day from Danny Kane. She's one of the most outspoken, the blonde.
Oh yeah.
She dated Donald Trump Jr. for like a year or two. So you would think somebody who hated this entire type of business structure complex, like exploiting women,
she has a type.
But then she was dating that guy, right? So like,
maybe that's her type.
Well, what I'm saying is these people of power are closer knit units than we understand. And even if they're criticizing each other, sometimes they date at the second generational level, or they're like different, whatever. Like, it's just, and I mean, even when we're talking about, there was an article about Brad Pitt in the New York Times, and other people are just noticing, not just noticing, but there's more stuff about Brad Pitt and this F1 sort of like apology tour, but like, what is he apologizing for? It's obviously a rehabilitation tour, but what is he rehabilitating himself for, right? It's like, all of this dancing around is not going to make us forget
domestic violence
that you beat
you beat your wife
in front of your children
on a plane,
and there's an FBI freaking report detailing it. So like, there's no ifs, ands, or buts that it happened. This is an official report, and those guys liked you. That's the nice version of it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's
they
crazy.
They sugarcoated it.
And so that is a perfect example of how Angelina Jolie, proven UNCH refugee rights advocate, proven UN ambassador, proven when she does charity, she doesn't like his charity in
let me guess, it's
New Orleans.
It's
called, the irony is called Make It Right. That's the name of his charity, Make It Right. He fucked up on the architecture of these structures. They're all like not like they can't withstand floods and stuff. No, they have to. All the people that live there, they have to redo all the stuff. He just walked away from it. He didn't even like fix it, and it's called Make It Right. She will actually like go to Cambodia, finish all the stuff that she does. It's like, I've never heard of anything negative about her charity work. There's never anything like she's full of shit, nothing like that. She completes everything all the way through. But everybody in public sides with her. Like, the children live with her. The children obviously love her. The children obviously, they're trying to blame it on her. They are all individuals. They can do it. And yet, the public has chosen Brad Pitt. Not that they haven't chosen her.
Why?
He's just, to me, it's always a popularity contest. It's the same
because
as
she's not
Johnny
acting anymore. I feel like she doesn't care to act. And he's like,
she was traumatized
and trying to redeem himself. You know what I mean?
She got Bell's palsy from it. Half of her face became paralyzed. She can't act, and half her face is paralyzed from the stress. Then she comes back from the stress. Her family helps her back through the stress. Her kids, she's just taking care of. They're just taking care of. They're literally traumatized. That's why she's not working. She's making sure they're safe. That's why she's not. It totally makes sense. I remember seeing her in the White House with President Biden signing a domestic violence act, and I was like, oh shit. I mean, if they're signing with her, that to me is legitimacy saying he fucking did that shit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I didn't see Joe Biden ever invite Brad Pitt to the fucking White House.
Right.
So, but she was there. Yeah. So that's why I'm saying, like, I'm 47, I'm still naive. I can tell you that right now.
I feel like, I don't know, there's something about these white male movie stars like Tom Cruise. My husband freaking loves Mission Impossible. He went to go see it, and I'm like, why do you like him? He's like, I know he's a piece of shit, but he's a good actor. And I'm like, okay, these movies are just ways for him to do the things that he wants to do, and he just writes a script. He's like, I want to do this stunt, and this stunt, and this stunt. Can you write a script around it? I feel like that's exactly what it is, because he's a thrill seeker. And I'm like, don't fucking support him and excuse his fucking shitty behavior.
It's so hard because, so Will Wheaton, you know Will Wheaton? He was on like Star Trek Next Generation. He's one of the, anyway. So he's like a science.
I do watch Star Trek.
So Will, he was like a younger, anyway.
Yes.
Okay, so somebody asked him about
this. The doctor's son.
Yes. Somebody was asking him about like, how do we separate art from the artist if the artist is a piece of shit?
Yeah.
Right?
His character's so annoying
like
on Star Trek.
R. Kelly, like Michael Jackson. Will Wheaton was like, I think the ways to understand that if let's say that there was an artist that you listened to their music and it helped you get through a very difficult time in your life. Mm-hmm. And then you find out later that artist is a piece of shit, like sexual assault or whatever. That doesn't change the fact that in that space of time that art helped you through that. Yeah. And you can separate the artist from the art because the art is not on one person. Like the Cosby Show is a great example of this. The Cosby Show made up of many people, not just one person. But when they canceled the residuals for all the people that worked on it ended, those people shouldn't have been punished for it. That art was good. Yeah. Even though that man was bad. Right? That's how you look at it. So like for Michael Jackson's music, it was easier for me to start listening to it again because he's not alive, so it wasn't going directly to him to do anything. But it's still like there's a twinge of like, ugh, but at the same time, that music and like there was that is the most complicated one where I'm like, I know that the reason that he did all that stuff was because somebody had to have done that to him to that level.
Mm-hmm.
Like his weird life and like the stories about how his dad used to beat him so bad, like with like the iron cord, the hard part of the cord, they would oil. I'm like, why are you oiling them up? That I didn't understand. Like, getting them naked and oiling them, that was really weird. So there's like, you know, I empathize with the victim, the child that's the victim inside the predator. But I'm also like, no, dude, there's so many people
that go through
that have gone through that don't turn into predators. Right. That
they talk about that in true crime all the time. In true crime podcasts, like they talk about like, oh, the serial killer had like this kind of childhood, and they always like empathize with that child, and they feel bad, but it's about breaking the cycle and like not continuing and doing that onto others. It's just like
when I was like, I didn't join fraternity sorority life, but I knew people in it, and I understood that like there are certain types of people. There's the people that haze because they got hazed and they want to inflict suffering on the next person, and there's people that know what that feels like and don't want to inflict suffering. Yeah, there's just literally two types of people.
I'm that second.
You don't know who. Understand. That's who you need to figure out who you're voting for. Is this candidate the kind of person that would like to inflict pain on others, or is this the kind of candidate that would absorb pain and convert it into helping?
Right.
That's how we need to like. Honestly, the way that we should judge every single leader moving forward. Have they ever been poor? Like, that's also, if you've never been poor, I don't want you to lead me and lead like legislation
because
for
the
poor.
You're out of touch. You don't know what these people are going through.
And you don't understand all the complexities of what being poor is like, what it means, how it affects other things. That like one little overdraft over a $2 overdraft. It's
going
like
to the doctor. You're super sick, but you can't call out work because you're going to lose the pay, but you also can't afford to go to the doctor.
And you have to have the copay too.
Mm-hmm. Like, it's so fucked.
But when you're wealthy, you can look at them like, oh, they should have worked harder. That's the easiest like out. Like, they should have just done this more. They should have tried harder. When the reality is, you got lucky. They are working hard. Everybody else that doesn't have anything has to work 100 times harder than you to do the normal thing. Mm-hmm. But you get to be lucky. This is also like, there's so much you can do to fix. There is a certain point where you have to say, all right, we've done all we can. Now it's time to like, okay, let's see what you can mobilize. Can you mobilize yourself too? Yeah. So there's like a certain amount of responsibility. Like, my husband would definitely say, I know a lot of white people that take a lot of advantage. Mm-hmm. So everything that they're saying, as much as they're saying is like black people or brown people or whatever minorities, like even Vietnamese, Lao, Cambodian that they're deporting back. The reality is, it's the white people that he has seen. They're like, I am able-bodied, but I refuse to work. Mm-hmm. So that his little 13-year-old ass had to get up and go to work every single day. Yep. And 2 jobs, riding his bike, you know?
Like with my mom, we had a conversation. It was like it was a very deep conversation. And she gets tired of people abusing the system, because she grew up on the system and she left it. But she still has family that abuses it, like I was saying earlier. And I turned to her at one point and I was like, you are always going to have assholes that take advantage of any resource that's out there. But you're trying to capitalize on the assholes that are maybe $20,000 worth of tax money versus the assholes that are taking advantage of corporate tax cuts and shit, which is millions of dollars of tax money, like billions, honestly. And I turned to her and I was like, out of this room, it was me, her, and my dad. My dad was a refugee, was on government assistance when he came over here. She was in low income, very, very low income, like lived by the train tracks, low income. And so she was on government assistance. Once I had my son, I was on government assistance. And if I did not have government assistance, I would not have been able to, I only qualified for certain things. So like Medicaid. I didn't qualify for food stamps. I didn't qualify for WIC. And I didn't qualify for like any childcare assistance. So just Medicaid, but that helped. If I didn't have that, we would have gone broke medically, like just paying for doctor's appointments and things like that. Because I couldn't afford to pay for insurance through my employer. Because at that point, I was working full-time and a part-time job just to pay for childcare.
Yeah.
So I turned to her and I was like, out of the 3 people in this room, none of us are still on government assistance. And out of the 3 people in this room, we all needed it, or none of us would be here. And shut up, because it's like, it's so easy to focus on the bad when it comes to stuff like that. But if you look around, it helps so many people.
Yeah.
And I think people need to step back and like realize, because you like in that your time of need.
Oh yeah.
What if you didn't have it?
I also remember like there were
afford that.
Well, when they're talking about fraud too, like there's a lot of people that are eligible that don't use it because of the stigma.
Yes.
So there's actually a lot of people that could be using the system, so that offsets the fraud. Honestly, there are so many people that don't use it, that don't want to use it, that qualify for it, that paid into the system, that will not use it. So same with like health insurance. A lot of people, like even me, like I have health insurance. It takes me so long now. Like I'm so conditioned to not call for the appointment that like I don't use my stuff as much as like someone else. So
and
those are all
people with Medicaid. Sometimes they don't use all the benefits provided to them with Medicaid.
Yeah,
like. I know I still didn't go. I'm so bad about going to my OBGYN. Like when I was on Medicaid after I had my son, I think I did my 6-week postpartum checkup, and I never went back until like.
I was opposite. I never went to an OB until I got pregnant. That was like the first time I went. Oh no, I went one time before we went to Japan because the military made me. Because Japan has like rules of like what, so then you have to have all the shots, all the things before you can leave. So that's a like I'm a Democrat, but I also act like very Republican in different ways because I grew up in a Republican household. Yeah. Right. So like I am very conservative in the way that I move in the world, but I'm very progressive in the way that I want people to be able to access whatever they need to access. Yeah. So that's kind of how I look at it because I know. From a societal standpoint and economic standpoint, that's the better economy choice. If you do the other way, which is to shrink it and then not give it, what happens, you end up with a lot of like people that are homeless. It's like they wanted to see how many people really needed services, so they're gonna like not give services to see. And then I feel like also when you're this like the level of rich they are, they might enjoy people coming up and asking for help. My dad hated when people. There's 2 types of rich people I've noticed. One who loves people having to come to them for help and being that person that needs...
Like, I can help. I can provide.
I'm the one that people need to come to. And I want my sons to be, or my daughters to also be like that. Yes. Versus my dad is obviously like, oh my God, I hated people coming to me. And I'm like that. That's why like with like clothing, when I had the clothing line and people were asking, I was like, oh my God, I actually don't like people coming up and like asking me because I don't know if I don't have it, I feel terrible not being able to give it to them. I don't know, like if I don't have it, what do I say, right? That's where I'm at. Versus like the other was like, I love being able to make people feel small. Does that make sense?
Because it makes you feel bigger.
Yeah. So
like
I'm not.
That's like a bully mentality.
But that's what I think this is when you want trickle down economics, and you don't want people just to be able to go get help when they need it on their own, and they have to go through you. It's because you have this like, I'm better than you, and I need you to come to me, groveling essentially for my help, so I can, and then I'm always the one that you have to come to. Right. Like I like that dynamic. So there's people like that. I personally am not like that.
They shouldn't be leaders.
But that's who ends up leading, because those are the people that want that. That's what they're motivated by. They want to have that power. That's why they work to be in those positions, because they like to be in charge. So that's what happens
it's
also.
Like a narcissistic.
It's totally narcissistic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thing. That's disgusting.
Yeah, I know, it's hard.
Yeah.
It's hard to see that these are like the different archetypes that are in power. But that's what they are.
Right?
Yeah.
I know, I was telling my husband earlier, I was like, we need a woman in office because I feel like a woman would just fucking clean up.
Well, you hope. Right, because you have what Marjorie Taylor Greene would be great. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah. I don't know, because did you see her? Tucker Carlson. I was like, damn it, why am I agreeing with her and Tucker Carlson right now? What the fuck is going on?
A broken clock is right twice a day.
Yeah. That's what they say about Joe Rogan, too.
I guess he's also having like buyer's remorse as well. So look, this is exactly the whole point of this podcast that we had started, right? Was like, look at you. So that we can understand how to get people that like finally see the light,
have you
have somewhere to go.
Have you seen that Instagram page, Leaving MAGA?
No. Should I say
I'll
that?
send it to you.
Okay. Hey!
Yeah. There's a whole Instagram page.
All right, we'll put that in the notes.
Yeah, with this, telling their stories about why they left tobacco.
All right, so now when we sign out, we actually want more engagement. Like, please, I did this thing where I lowered the Substack. I guess like for Substack you can set a subscription or whatever. I think it's the default is $8. I made it $5 because I don't think you guys need to pay $8. Like whatever, it's fine. We'll just start with like $5, like something little.
Is it $5 a month?
Yeah, but that's just to start, just to see what this interface is like.
Okay.
For video or commenting, I'm just trying it out.
Yeah.
But if you don't like this, comment saying we don't like this function, make it this way or make it whatever, make it $1, make it, I don't know, whatever. We'll play around with whatever the thing is.
Yeah.
But
give us some
let
feedback.
us know. Give us feedback. Tell us what you want to hear.
Yeah.
Tell us what
Is
you're
there an
noticing.
issue that you're like, hey, nobody's talking about this?
Send us a deep thought or not so deep thought.
Yeah. Not so deep thought. I feel like this is so deep that we need to be doing some of that.
We've been trying to do light topics, but we cannot because it's so many tough topics.
I feel like the air is so heavy. And I think with 4th of July, I was running into a lot of people who were like, we didn't celebrate this year.
Did you go to No Kings protest? There was supposed to be July 4th No Kings protest. I didn't see any footage on anything. And that must have not really been. Did like nobody show up for the No Kings protest on July 4th?
I saw footage of it in LA. I saw the one in LA.
Okay.
But I didn't go.
I was on a cruise ship. So
I asked my husband, I was like, hey, do you want to go watch fireworks? Do you want to go? And he was like, I don't know. I feel like there's really nothing to like celebrate this year. I'm feeling kind of sad. And I was like, okay, that's valid. Let's just like chill at home.
I felt like how can I do a No Kings protest after such a successful one when they just passed this bill? Like obviously there is a king and he's in office right now on Independence Day, so there was that. Yeah,
you just feel like there's no checks and balances anymore.
Yeah,
it's a fucking free for all. But what do you want to sign off with? Are we the only ones that?
Are we the only ones that are feeling like shh? No one cares.
Oh yeah, like my shirt. I run better than the government, and I don't run very well at all.
Oh my gosh.
So, yeah, well, that was funny.
Love it.
Yes. And then you can give us a follow at Are We The Only Ones Pod at Instagram, YouTube. That's also our Gmail, Are We The Only Ones Pod at Gmail. And then Are We The Only Ones Podcast for TikTok.
Yeah.
Yes. And then we also have our Substack, which she mentioned, which is going to be arewetheonlyonespodcom. Until next time.
Bye.